Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Grand Prix here at Dreamhack Valencia. I'm Raven, joined for the first game of the top 16. With me here is Sottle and Lothar. We have the first game. We are ready to go to decide the top 16, as we just had something flash up very quickly on the screen. But this is the serious business now. Like, all the players have grinded through all the Swiss rounds. We know our top 16, and now it's all or nothing for these guys.
Certainly is. This is where the stakes start to pick up, and they just multiply exponentially with every game you play. As I mentioned when we cast the previous game, that was almost a round of 32 game where it was win or go home. Win, you go to top 16, but now we are just in a straight single elim bracket, and everything is on the line. So
now it's like the old times of single elimination invitational tournaments. This is the top 16 that got invited, and now we have a tournament.
Yeah,
so this is this stage.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of pressure after the sheer volume of games we've played in Swiss, and now it's like lose once and you are out. We do have the two players of the first two games there on the screen. We have Erikbeck versus Evangelion, I believe is the way to say that name. So yeah, two players we've not seen, I believe, on stream yet.
We didn't, that's for sure. I actually played against Evangelion during the first Dreamhack Valencia.
Oh, wow.
Way back. Or was it against his brother, Fallen? Either of those.
Oh, he's the Fallen's brother?
Yes.
Ah, interesting. I didn't know that.
So that was like two years ago, so I can't really remember. But I remember that I talked with both of them, and they had aspirations to be, professional players. They have a team now. So
good start.
And Evangelion's in the top 16 here after 9 rounds of Swiss. Good stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are obviously two of the lesser known names that we're going to see in the top 16, but Swiss is a proving ground. If you are here, it's you haven't done it randomly by accident. You have played some quality Hearthstone over a very, very long format, and you've forced out some very well-known players in order to take this spot for your own here. So these guys have already established themselves as quality players, but now this is the chance to really get some huge exposure by making a big finish here in the top 16.
Yeah, and it's a paladin.
We're getting into the first game. The decks already look fantastic, so I'll leave it to you guys. Enjoy the match.
Okay, well, it's a patron, I guess. Patron warrior against a Zod paladin.
I mean, sure, let's go with that, right? Yeah, as I said,
so, right?
we had a little sneak peek at the deck lists when we were deciding which games we wanted to stream, and as I said, there are a non-zero quantity of Zoos and Aggro Shamans and Dragon Warriors about, but there are also some people who've got here with some twists in their lineup, and we're seeing that kind of thing a little bit here.
You can see also the bans. So Evangelion banned Erikbeck's Mage, and Erikbeck banned the Warrior. So no surprise here, kind of like usually one player is banning the Warrior, the other one is banning the Warlock or the Mage.
Yes, those have been like the core strategies so far, right? But as we see, these people have slightly different lineups from what we've been seeing as the core strategy. So it's no surprise that their ban strategy is a little bit different as well.
Yep, both are playing Shaman, of course, and Warlock.
Yeah,
seems like they are the core of almost every single lineup. The Warrior is also there, but the difference is the Mage and the Paladin, and it's very interesting to see the Paladin because that means that it was being played in most of the games, I assume, right?
Yeah, must have been.
Because it's never getting banned.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Yep.
And most likely when you're not winning like 3-0 or 3-1, then you need to play the Paladin at some point.
Yeah,
right?
and unless he's just been 3-0ing everyone with Aggro Shaman or Zoo or whatever his other decks are, then he would have had to have been forced to play this Paladin at some point. Because as you said, it's not going to be banned. And there is the confirmation of Grim Patron in case Ragnaros and the Whirlwind that we've seen so far didn't do enough of that for you. There is the actual Patron itself, but does have a Doomsayer to deal with right now. And I don't know about you, Lothar, but I don't see a good way of doing that.
No, there's no way in hell that it can do that. Interesting enough that he picked the Shaman hero power. He had the Paladin hero power, so like to battle loud with his opponent's hero power. But I guess the Shaman is way better when you have cards like Whirlwind, when you have cards like Blood to Ichor, which deals then 2 damage and generates a 2/2 minion. So that's also a cool thing to do. If he plays Bash, I'm not sure if he plays Bash on a Patron version, most likely not.
Yeah.
But it will also affect that, right?
Yeah.
But there's a Slam, for sure.
Right, exactly. Most of the totems have a decent effect. Spell damage, as you said, allows some of your cards to tempo out a little bit harder. Healing Totem's actually great when on a patron turn. You know, you get your 3-1s and 3-2s back up to 3-2s and 3-3s. The Taunt can just be useful. You know, Taunt Totem's would be useful for a lot of classes in a lot of situations. And just having 0-2s instead of 0-1s also activates Battle Rage for you. You have minions on the board that works with Battle Rage. So Shaman Hero Power is actually kind of underrated as a Finley choice in patron, personally, I believe.
Well, obviously the best choice is Fire Blast, right? You would like to have that Mage Hero Power to generate...
Mage or Warlock most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, but the Mage is just so powerful. First of all, it's great against Paladin, just to deny his hero power. Second of all, it generates you minions from Patron, and it triggers Battle Rage.
Yeah, it does get a lot of stuff done. Sometimes Warlock is preferable hero power if you don't already have some Cycle in your hand, but when you're sitting on a Battle Rage, you would probably love to see the Mage there, as you say, but he's happy moving forward with the Shaman, but he's had a pretty slow start here so far, but honestly, this is a matchup that I played a lot in the early days of Standard, and it kind of came down to one of two things. You either had to try and tempo out early with Frothing Berserker and Bloodhoof Brave and try and really force through a bunch of early damage, or you got to the point where it's like, okay, as early as I can, I'm just going to all-in my patrons and just hope that you don't have the equality combo yet.
Well, very similar situation to Reno Warlock, right?
Similar, yeah. Very similar.
So either do or die, so get all in as soon as possible, and I kind of like this kind of approach. It's also similar where we have seen an example when Stan Sivko was playing his Rogue against the Freeze Mage.
Yes.
So it's this similar, let's say, dynamic of the matchup, and it's unfortunate for Eric that he can't really do that yet, right? He has the Patron, but he only has, he doesn't have the Inner Rage, so he can only do the Blood to Ichor on it. I would say that maybe he should consider that when he has a taunt in the way.
It's possible. I mean, he may just assume that he needs that kind of play to win this game at some point, because I love the play on the other side of just coining out Can, because Can is an incredibly frustrating minion for warriors to deal with, and it's also just, you know, great at controlling the type of minions that Patron will play against you. So if you have time to play that card and you haven't been put under enough pressure, then getting it down as early as you can really does disrupt a lot of the plans that Patron warriors will have.
Definitely correct, especially that historically speaking, Warrior was always annoyed by Yetis and Twilight Drakes, and this is like a combination of both.
I like this play. I've kind of instantly gained respect for Erikbeck as a patron player here, because if you kind of think about the situation, like True Silver Champion on its own doesn't do it. Consecrate on its own doesn't do it, because you can't get through to hit the 3/3 first. So this patron board that he's made is actually about as annoying as any other board he can make. So the Consecrate will happen, the trade will happen afterwards, and that will mean that there's just a 3-1 left sitting around. Still, I mean, he retains board presence. He's forced his opponent to have an inefficient turn in the meantime.
Yeah, and he forced out the first Consecrate, and he can still, as you said, hit a Healing Totem.
Yes, yes he can. And most importantly, he has a 3-card Battle Rage just set up on the board right now. So, you know, it was an answer, but it was an imperfect answer, and he's now created himself a platform to move forward on. And that's honestly what this new form of Patron is most of the time about, is like, you're not just going to go all in with one combo and win the game like Warsong Patron used to do. You need to build a platform. Something has to stick, and then you leverage that to win the game. So he made the play to make that happen, and it's paid off for him here.
I really like that play. That was my choice as well, and then it's very good to see, like, that also kind of shows the level of the player, right? When he's in the top 16 here of Dreamhack Summer, he recognizes the matchup correctly. He knows how to win the matchup, right? This is what you need to be aware of when you're playing Hearthstone on a high level, is when you have to assume which cards have which purpose in this certain matchup, and how do you approach the general tempo of the game.
Yeah. So it looks like the plan might be just Korkron go face. I definitely don't mind this. I think the alternate option was to try and set up another Battle Rage, but that gave you serious issues with potential overdraw if you didn't find something to play. I definitely don't think Bloodhoof Brave was the play, because in this matchup you almost never play a Bloodhoof Brave unless A, you've seen the Kodos already,
or you damage it instantly.
Or you damage it immediately to make it a 5/5. So yeah, I like the Korkron go face play, because this immediately starts to put pressure on the Paladin to the point where, yes, Forbidden Healing are incredible burst healing cards, but they're also kind of clunky. If you want to use them to heal for a large amount of mana, you can't do much else that turn alongside. So the earlier you start putting that kind of pressure on, the better.
I was thinking also about kind of more passive play. I like this one with Korkron, of course. It's very aggressive, and I like that. But the other thing I was thinking about was trade with the Ghoul to the Kern, then slam execute the Bane, right?
Yes.
So you still have the Patron on board, and if your opponent doesn't have an answer to it, and it seemed like there was no weapon in the hand, right? Because otherwise the consecration would have been saved, at least in my eyes. So you have a chance that your Patron is still alive to maybe heal in the upcoming turns. But the downside of that play was the fact that you lose an execute for the Tyrion.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, I like the line he took. He was just being aggressive, trying to back that up with the Rag that he already had, and Rag's looking like a pretty appealing play here. Just trade the 3-1 off into the 3-3 and send the 1 damage face with the neutered Kor'kron Elite and hope that Rag can do some work, because Rag is often a card that will either take a Kodo combo, you know, a Humility Kodo, in which case you have that 1-3 around to protect it if the 4-5 is taken off the board. Or sometimes the Paladin player is just forced to just a quality Rag, like as a single guy on the board, in which case that's a big win for you as the Patron player.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's really getting rough for Eric here, because now he doesn't have that much board control, and well, as you said, he's being pushed to play that. Oh God, Bloodhoof Brave.
Yep.
Bloodhoof Brave immediately damage it and just go for the Battle Fury.
Yeah, I mean, this is okay. I mean, maybe his thinking here is try and get the Kodo out of the hand beforehand, because there's the 1-2 on the board that would be a Kodo target, and just try and go from there so you can reduce the amount of potential answers to a Ragnaros. But I personally liked Rag that turn. This is fine too. He did cycle his second Battle Rage, which is an important thing to get done at some point in this game. He is starting to threaten lethal now when he gets up to the point where he can sort of Grom plus slam on turn 10.
Our Inner Rage would be amazing.
Yes, it would.
Because that is 2 additional damage, which can make a difference. I'm kind of surprised that Evangelion plays 2 Kodos. That's not something you usually see, right? With 2 Kodos.
I think for a while, there's been a big argument on sort of number of Kodos, and I remember, I can't remember which specific practice group it was. I think it was Amnesiac that I heard saying this. It's just like, yeah, I'm playing 2 Kodos in my list, which is just objectively correct, or something along those lines. Yeah, you know the way Amnesiac talks, right?
Objectively correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there was debate about it for a while. I definitely wouldn't say that it's rare to see double Kodo in an Azoth list, but yeah, it's definitely one of the debated cards for sure.
Ooh, don't use an execute, man. I was thinking about dropping double Armor Smiths, but you don't actually want to give them, to give the Paladin the Armor Smith.
Right.
Because maybe he's playing a Pyromancer as well.
Sure.
And if you can combo that out and then get even further out of range, right? Out of your finisher, that's really amazing. Okay. He did save the slam. I was thinking maybe you should just slam this and kill the Doomsayer, deal 1 damage. I like this one, actually.
Yeah, this is better, right? You deal extra damage, and by leaving the board up that way, you would give him your 1-3 charge guy afterwards, right? So it seems fine. Does have the second execute to deal with Tyrion, which is, you know, bonus number 1, but unfortunately there is an Azoth backing it up, so I like this play of trying to use the Ragnaros to snipe down the Tyrion, because now he's reserved execute number 2 for the final Tyrion, right? There's another Tyrion to come this game. He knows that. He's expecting it to happen, and he still has that second execute to be able to get through it.
My God, this is just... What a back-breaking moment, right? When I think about it. 8, 14, 20, 22 mana is being brought just from the dead. 22 mana, plus a 5/7, which is worth, let's say, 5.5 mana.
Yes. But, I mean, we have 1 in 5 lethal this turn. And that's your best chance of winning this game. So I love this recognition. Yeah, just jam the Grom to face. This is the only way you win the game. Cross your fingers. Hope Rag gets the job done. I think Erikbeck has played this game extremely well. 1 in 4. So did I say 1 in 5?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, 1 in 4.
Didn't work.
But I think Erikbeck's played this game really well.
Yes,
right?
I
I'm
agree.
a big fan of the way he's played it.
Yes, I agree. Very aggressive, correct decisions. He recognized how the matchup works, and he tried to make it work. And actually, when you think about it, he had 25% to win the game, even after this back-breaking moment, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we are just going to steal that Grom. Nice free 10-8 charge for Evangelion.
And that's actually lethal, right? Because that's 13, then 5.
5
Yes.
and the 8 from So, yeah, I mean, Eric did dig his own grave at the end there, but like, what other win condition did he have at that point apart from taking the 25%? So he went for it. It didn't pay out. Hearthstone is a game of odds sometimes that you just have to play to, right? If it's the right play to take that shot, then take that shot. So I support the decision. Didn't work out for him this time. He's going to go down 0-1 and have to fight back with his remaining decks, which are the Shaman and the Warlock.
I hope those are some interesting choices. He was playing Patron, right? It's an interesting deck, especially in current meta. No one complains actually about the deck that is being unfair or something like that. So it's in a healthy position right now, I would say. And it has to be paired up against the Paladin again. So what do? Shaman?
I mean, Shaman definitely seems like the go-to here. It does have that potential to just power through way too quickly. Flamery Faceless is actually one of the cards that can be a little bit of a liability in this matchup. It can cause you to like slow down too much if you go early Flamery Faceless and it gets humilitied or outdoor peacekeepered. So no surprise to see it being thrown away there, even with the coin. Just goes for the quicker start and gets it with the Tunnel Trog. But look at the hand on the other side. There is a Doomsayer. There is a Pyromancer, there's an Acolyte of Pain, and a Kodo. Plenty of answers for the early game and mid-game from Evangelion here.
Kinda really well drawn by Evangelion. That Doomsayer buys him so much time. It's incredible, right?
Ooh.
Wait. Can he deal actually additional damage?
He can deal 6.
5, 6? Yeah, well, that's unfortunate.
I think he thought it as well, because like his first action, as we were like watching his movements on his cards, his first action was just to grab Totem Golem. So I think he at first thought he can do it as well, but he was one short.
It's actually acting like a spell power, kinda, right?
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
situation.
There's the Solemn Vigil paying off the Doomsayer, so he's going to draw himself even more options. Gets the True Silver as well. This is such a nice-looking anti-aggro hand now. The
Druxifer Champion is an answer to the Pharaoh Spirit, and I guess that will be the option that Erikbeck will choose, because then he can curve out with the Totem Golem afterwards.
He could also go Totem Golem Argent Squire this turn, and then Coin Thing from below the turn after.
And Thing from below will be better against the Druxifer Champion in theory, right?
But he's going to go with the Feral Spirits line. He's also going to coin out the Squire here. This makes sense because, he has 2 mana then on the next turn, and then because of the 1 Overload, he'll have 4 mana on the next turn, so this curve works perfectly fine as well.
Also, it's better for a potential top deck, which will be Flamethrower Totem, because you have 2 minions on board, and if your opponent goes for the Druxifer Champion, then you deal additional damage, which negates the heal from the weapon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a Lightning Storm.
It is.
Still, a decent board presence, I would say, but the problem is he's really slow.
So now we have to ask the question of, is this potentially mid-range? Have we seen any pure face cards being drawn? We haven't seen Abusives or Finley, right? So this could potentially be mid-range Shaman. There we go.
Okay.
There's an Abusive.
Well, he can be playing Big Game Hunter.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that's unlikely, Lothar.
Yeah, just messing around here. Still, the Kodo are doing work. Like, when you think about it, this is like a huge tempo gain from the Paladin. Turn 2, Doomsayer. Not only destroying a card, but also buying a 1 turn, right? Then you had the Druxifer Champion killing a card, basically, a card and a half, and the Kodo killing half a card. How amazing is that? You still have a Kodo on board.
Yeah, now he's picked up the Forbidden Healing as well, so he knows that he has some life to play with here. And he's just go ahead and neutralize this board yet again. Acolyte of Pain now onto the board with 2 1-power minions on it, and this means that most of the time he's going to have another good Stampeding Kodo next turn that he can play alongside Hero Power, so he's even just dominating the board here against the Shaman.
Wow, the Paladin is actually doing work? Look at that.
Suddenly, Lightning Storm looks like it might end up being a good card against a control deck, which is not the reason you're putting this in your aggro Shaman. You're putting it in there primarily for the Zoo matchup, sometimes the Mirror.
So I guess it's a Hero Power time to get the Air Power Totem and Lightning Storm into Abusive Sergeant.
And that definitely seems reasonable. He gets it as well, so that is almost a guaranteed sweep. He'll be looking for the 4 on the Kodo. Does get the low roll though, but he has a multitude of options as to how he wants to deal with this.
So in this situation, I would really favor to use the Divine Shield, because first of all, you know that your opponent might be playing Pyromancer in this deck, so the Divine Shield doesn't really matter that much, right? And
you get absolutely bodied by Consecration if you do this though, right?
At some point there has to be a Consecration that will body you, right?
Probably, yeah, but I mean, you play a lot of 3 health minions, Divine Shields, 5/5, 7/7s in the deck. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to ruin your life. But sure.
At least he will know that there's no consecration.
I mean, yeah, that's true. It's a good test for it, at least. But his hand doesn't really, doesn't really mind about consecration going forward. These are kind of his last remaining minions, apart from that one horse rider. But like I said, let me introduce you to Mr. Kodo Baggins, number 2.
And it kills the minion that maybe could have had a Divine Shield.
Okay, sure. Yeah, the play was objectively correct.
That's a lot of damage in that hand.
It is.
5, 8, 11, plus 2, 13, 14, 16 damage this turn. Imagine, let's say that the Doomhammer will be drawn. That can actually be game.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're going to be counting, just counting effects, then there is potentially 40 healing in the hand of the Paladin. So.
Yeah, I was just kind of drawing you to say that.
He's going to use one right now to heal for 12, which is absolutely fine, especially since he gets the benefit out of the Pyromancer proc as well. So, I mean, Evangelion's just thrown together 2 really strong N'Zoth Paladin draws here. He's really had what he's needed in the right matchups.
Oh, definitely. And it looks like he's demolishing this Shaman. Without the Forbidden Healings, it will be kind of tough.
Yes.
But still manageable, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But with that Forbidden Healing, and then the second one, it looks almost unwinnable for the Shaman, I guess.
Yeah, it does.
Especially with the Tyrion into N'Zoth.
Yeah, I mean, he just has it again. He's just got the 1-2 punch yet again. Tyrion into the N'Zoth Tyrion.
He even has an answer to a Doomhammer. So unless it kills him the same turn.
All right, I lost a bet to Throwdown earlier, Lothar, so I'll see if I can make my money back. Do you want to take a bet for $10 that the Paladin wins this game?
Why would I take this bet?
I'm just trying to make my money back. I lost money to Throwdown earlier.
Dude, it's not CSGO.
Okay. All right. Wow. Wow. Nice meme.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, this looks kind of horrible for Eric, to be honest. I mean, he's a Shaman, so most likely the viewers are not feeling bad for him. But he is getting crushed right now.
Yeah.
Even if he will play that Doomhammer, it doesn't really fit. Like, what do you do here? Do you... you can roll for air power to them again, and then combine it with the Lightning Bolt to kill the Tyrion and get 12 damage in the process. You're at 30, so you can actually do that. But
yeah, but then you're just staring, like, you'd go down to 18 and you'd be staring right back at 15 more damage from the Ashbringer in your face. So,
oh, he has an...
I mean, he has to find a plan. His plan is Lava Burst, so he is going to take the 12. He does put him basically in the situation that we just talked about, but he has to find some sort of way out of this. He doesn't know there's another Tyrion in his future, but unfortunately there is. I don't see any other work. Oh, he's just going to play the use. All right, fine.
Yeah, the use is kind of good as well, right?
I mean, yeah. I feel like this is playing with your food a little bit. I wouldn't have minded just jamming the second Tyrion and getting the job done, but sure. If you want to just crush the guy's hopes and dreams, which is honestly a viable strategy in tournament, like the ooze is probably more tilting than the second Tyrion.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, oh great, he had the ooze as well, then sure, go with that.
Yep, I agree about that. The psychological aspect is something that people kind of underestimate in general. The same goes for fatigue when it comes to like long tournaments like this one. It's
like
really
real life fatigue, right? Not overdrawing.
What I mean is exactly fatigue, like literally fatigue for the player, exhaustion from playing for long hours. You know, so kids, be sure to be hydrated.
Yes, indeed. So N'Zoth Paladin, not a deck that anyone was really expecting to have a big showing here, but being super effective for Evangelion so far. And he again, he's grabbed the Doomsayer against the aggro deck straight away. That puts him in pretty reasonable shape.
And he has a reasonable weapon as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the debate many times, and I was like discussing this with many players, because when I was streaming Hunter and I was playing just the weapon, the Longhorn Bow, without any traps.
Yes.
And they were asking me, why do you play this card? And this is still a decent weapon.
It turns out 3-mana Fiery War Axe is still a good card.
Yeah, exactly. It just deals with Acolytes of Pain. It deals with all 3 drops, most likely all 3 drops that can be played.
Yeah.
So it's still a good card. Why would you not play it? And the same case is here. You don't need Divine Shield minions to actually make it playable.
So, based on the hand that we can see at the moment, can Erikbeck make a play that beats Doomsayer?
If he gets the Forbidden Ritual that's free, damage.
And then
So
the
that's
abusive is
5 abusive.
5.
So you need to find Direwolf Alpha also, or a
Direwolf
second
Alpha,
abusive.
second abusive PO.
Well, yeah, PO as well, of
Yeah.
course. Maybe he's not playing PO.
Possible, yeah. It could be like the more retro style zoo that we've seen recently that's cut the PO for double Soulfire and things.
But he went for the abusive Sergeant, and that makes it almost impossible without the PO.
Oh my god!
Okay, I mean, we're going to make a big deal about this because we just talked about it, but like, how bad is that actually from Erikbeck's perspective? Like, do you have to plan to beat turn 2 Doomsayer that badly in this matchup?
I mean, how do you even plan to use Forbidden Ritual in this game? Your opponent has
As a refill after an
After
AoE?
what? After 2 Pyromancers
Sure.
and 2 Consecrations?
Sure.
It's almost impossible to do.
Right. But I mean, you know, we can't be 100% critical of that, right? Because I was literally sat here with Cast Division saying, okay, there's a Doomsayer. Like, can we make any play that beats that? But the important point is like, Doomsayer on turn 2 is like one of the big things that's going to lose you the matchup, right?
Yeah.
So like, how much do you have to plan around it is my question. Erikbeck definitely didn't make the play that maximized his chances and did to an extent get punished for that. But I'm not going to call that a misplay.
Yeah, but just try to recall how many times did we talk about how Forbidden Ritual on turn 2 is actually a decent play, right? And how many games we have seen that in this event? Actually, a lot.
Sure.
Especially that this matchup is really similar to what we have seen in the first game with the Warrior. You need to be fast.
Right.
You have 2 strategies. Either you go and kill every single thing as soon as possible. Let me rephrase that. Either you're super aggressive as the Zoo and you try to kill him with just spewing everything on the board and just killing him as soon as possible, or you tap almost every single turn to have a refill available, right?
Just look at this hand. 2 Pyros with a coin still in hand, so that's 1 AoE just with the Pyro and the coin. Has an equality then to go with the second Pyro. Anytime he does that, he'll probably get a 0 mana Solemn Vigil to cast.
Oh yeah.
He has a True Silver equipped, he has an Aldor for neutralization, and he has a backup weapon in the Rallying Blade. Like, this hand is glorious. It's 1 Forbidden Healing away from being pretty much perfect.
Well, let's see what is this turn then. Do you want to use Pyromancer this turn? You can use Pyromancer coin. And you would have to use the equality. That makes no sense.
You would not. No, Pyromancer coin.
Well, can you use Solo and Vigil after that? You can, right?
Yeah.
So that makes it available. Then you can attack into the
Right.
Consulman.
Yeah, but we just do Consecrate, so
Yeah.
this is just easier.
It's kind of better,
Yeah, that
right?
just kind of throws all the Pyromancer fanciness out the window. You just go ahead and Consecrate that board. But yeah, he could have traded
But he could have also killed the Outer Square, right?
Yeah, he could have also killed the Odin Squire. He would have just traded in his Acolytes, that reduces the Vigil by 1, and then played Pyromancer, coined, that kills another minion, then he can cast Solemn Vigil, then that sweeps, he True Silvers the remainder of the Darkshire Councilman.
So I guess this is the turn when you play Forbidden Ritual, because your opponent used the Consecration.
I like the tap. I don't think this rules out Forbidden Ritual.
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
Forbidden Ritual for 4 here is totally fine, but 4/4 on board after you've just seen a True Silver get used, that's not unreasonable either. But your hand is Sea Giant, Abusive Sergeant, Gormok. Your hand tells you want tokens on the board right now.
Agree. Or you just go for the kind of silly play, which is Voidwalker, Abusive Sergeant, and maybe Forbidden Ritual.
I think I'm okay with a 4/4 or 4/1/1s this turn. Personally, I'm okay with either. I think at this point, I would take the risk of the Forbidden Ritual and then lose the game immediately because he has so much AoE left over in his hand. But I think that's the line I'd take.
The Forbidden Ritual just has a really small value in this matchup, in general.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not looking good.
Picks up an Ooze as well to go along with True Silver Champion number 2, so he's actually dominating the board now. He actually is asking the question of the Zoo player. But Knife Juggler now picked up, so the Forbidden Ritual actually deals a little bit of burst damage here.
That is nice, a nice addition, because it most likely will trade. The daggers will kill the Ooze. Or he goes for the Abusive Session then. Is he? No, he's going
to go for the Ritual for 3. Interesting. He's checking his attack, see where the knives go. does lose the Squire, so...
Doesn't really matter.
All right. Okay,
Oh,
there's
okay.
the forbidden healing we were talking about. So
Yeah.
there's the stabilization he needed, and alongside all these removal options, that is going to be looking like he's very, very heavily favored to take down a quick 3-0
With a
with
Paladin.
the Zoth Paladin.
Amazing, right? I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, those are not words that I was expecting to string together this tournament. Quick 3-0 and the Zoth Paladin in quick succession.
During top 16.
Yeah.
PL useless in this situation.
I mean, he has to find some way of building a board, but he has to build a board against a wild Pyromancer that he just has no answer to right now, so it just makes it even more difficult. And this is kind of the punish. Like, a lot of people have cut things like Gormok, Sea Giant, etc. from their zoo list. They're playing like just the more solid, consistent Doomguard versions a lot of the time because a lot of decks are just built to keep you off the board quite well, that you want to just be able to just slam powerful things every turn. You don't want these situational cards sat back in your hand that are, to an extent, kind of win more. You know, Sea Giant, just by design, like you can't argue that there is an element of win more to Sea Giant, right?
Yeah, agree. And now Eric is again in a situation with no way out. By the way, there's a possibility of coining out N'Zoth next turn for another Tyrion.
3 out of 3.
3 out of 3, yes. But this time turn 9, not 10.
That's very true, yeah.
Wow, that's kind of incredible.
And if
when
he's
you
able
think
to
about it.
retain the Pyro as well, then the coin will serve as like a board nuke as well as he coins out the N'Zoth.
Well, not a board nuke because it actually only deals 1 damage,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, cute.
In theory.
Cute.
Yeah.
Still cute.
Yeah.
Wow, this is really awkward.
It is.
I was thinking, why wouldn't you play the Abusive Surgeon last turn? Because it will have 2 HP, so it doesn't die to the Pyromancer's effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not sure about it, but
Alright, so we're probably not going to see the coin N'Zoth play here, since
Most
there's the
likely
small
not.
matter of an 8-8 to be dealt with, but not only do we have the Outdoor Peacekeeper in hand, he's just drawn an immunity, so... Oh, no, never mind. We are just going to play a second Tyrion.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the exact opposite of what he did. The only reason I said we probably wouldn't see it is because last time he kind of just took the option of just grinding the game out, whereas this time he's just like, nah, second Tyrion, go
Yeah.
face.
I
Like,
mean-
let's get this done.
Your opponent is at 10 HP, you have a 5 attack
Right.
weapon that you already swinged once,
Yeah.
and you have an option to actually swing it 3 times after that. So that's more than 10, even, right?
Yeah, as Raven frantically gets back to take a seat, but I don't blame you, because who expected a quick 3-0?
No, the worst
with
part was I was
N'Zoth
watching the match just over there,
Oh.
not in there, that's all.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's kind of crazy, like 3-0 with N'Zoth Paladin. Like, what's going on? Have we gone back in time? Is my main question.
To the
It's like 2 months ago.
yeah, exactly what I want to say. It wasn't that back in time, right?
Hey, it's just the deck of Dreamhacks, right? Chucky took down Dreamhack Austin in no small part due to N'Zoth Paladin, so apparently...
That's actually correct.
Yeah.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, so apparently when it comes to Dreamhacks, the N'Zoth Pali's come out to play.
Yeah, and again, it's something we've discussed quite a lot, and a lot of the players have discussed in terms of building lineups. You build your lineup against the field you expect, but then someone brings a deck that's actually, the deck in a vacuum is pretty good,
Right.
but then it's just not played based on, it got pushed out of the meta, right?
Right.
And then
Yep.
when it's not, you're just like, yeah, okay, I'll bring it. But we'll get the words from the guy himself. Congratulations
Hi.
on the win.
Thank you.
I think the main question straight away is, so N'Zoth Paladin.
Question mark.
Yeah. like,
Well, first, I'm not very used to speak English, but I'll do my best, okay?
okay.
Don't worry, man.
I did, I think, 4-3-0 in the tournament with N'Zoth Paladin.
Wow.
So
That's
it's-
impressive.
It's pretty good, yeah. I
That's
think it's not
impressive.
tier 1, but I really like it, so I don't mind.
So did you bring it to the tournament for a particular reason? Like you were expecting to beat something with it in particular, or?
Well, in practice, I've been winning like 80% against Warrior. Even if it's Dragon, I don't mind. I
Sure.
just win. And I think it's not bad against Shaman. So I've been a bit lucky in the last game because I drew all the answers and that. But
It was pretty good.
yes. But I don't know. I just like it so.
Well, it's amazing to see, actually, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find too much else to talk about, right? We saw one deck and it 3-0, so
Yeah.
I mean, I assume you don't want to talk too much about the rest of your lineup, although the deck lists are out now, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Yeah,
matter, so-
Reno combo,
Yeah.
mid-range Shaman, and Zetun Warrior.
Okay,
oh,
so
Toon Warrior. Oh,
yeah,
that's
definitely
interesting.
you favor like more control style decks and a
Yes.
slower gameplay overall.
100%.
Also, I wanted to ask, now you're part of Valencia, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about the team?
Well, it's the Valencia football club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are the Hearthstone team, but the League of Legends team has been
Introduced, right?
Introduced, right? And I don't know, we are very happy about that. And we are also from Valencia and also from the football club. We are fans, and well, I don't know.
Yeah,
You're the local hero
Yes.
from the local football
Exactly,
club. Now
exactly.
in the top 16
Exactly.
at the Dreamhack in Valencia.
Top eight.
That's like
Top 8.
Sorry, top 8.
No mind,
Yes,
no mind, but
Lothar. He sat there for a reason.
Yeah, top 8 now, and you just joined Valencia like last month, right?
yeah, last month.
Yeah, so that's amazing actually.
Yeah.
Amazing story.
Yeah, more and more football clubs are starting to venture their way into esports, but primarily with FIFA is the natural fit. So it's great
Or
to see
League
a
of
team.
Legends.
Yeah, or League of Legends, of course. But it's great to see a team picking up Hearthstone players. That's awesome.
Yeah, but no, congratulations. You've got
Thank
some
you.
time to chill out now, as your next match is going to be tomorrow, I believe. So we're just going to finish up the rest of the round of the 16 today. And yeah, don't go anywhere too quick, guys. We'll be having a short break while we set up the next game. So we'll be back soon. So stick around for some more Hearthstone action.